Hi everyone, welcome to Live Stream Yoga with Louise, tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's playtime on the mat is all about unwinding, letting go of all that tension, mostly into the hips, the upper back and the shoulders. As always, I'd like you to play where you're comfortable, modifying the movement as you need to. You ready to play? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class lying down on the back as if you were setting yourself up for a bridge line. Make your way onto the mat, bending the knees, connecting the soles of the feet to the mat, and lying down comfortably on your back. Arms at your sides in a Shavasana-like position, palms facing up to the ceiling. Relax your body into the mat, feet and knees hip-width distance apart. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale, slowly rotate to your head, letting go of any tension along the neck and the shoulder line, feeding into the collar line. Inhale and bring your head back towards the center line. Exhale and slowly drop to the right. Inhale, bring it back. We're going to do that 2 more times to each side, consciously letting go of that tension. Use your breath to let go. One more drop. As you come back to the center line, slowly bring your right knee up to 90 and just think of dropping the foot gently up and down, letting go of any tension in the ankle joint. Then give me a couple of circular motions in one direction. Change the direction. Still the ankle and give me big circular traces. Think of executing from the hip joint. Keeping your shoulders heavy into the mat, back soft and relaxed. Change the direction. Chin line soft and parallel. Let's change sides. Bring your left knee up to 90 and think of dropping the foot up and down, starting to wake up the joint. Then begin tracing a circular pattern in one direction. Change the direction. Still the foot and begin tracing big circular patterns. Think of executing from the hip. Change direction. Keep your belly button heavy into the mat. Then draw both knees in softly towards the chest, interlacing the hands around the shins as you gently cradle rock, or maybe just holding onto each knee if that's more comfortable for you. You can even exaggerate the movement, coming all the way over, hanging on one side, peel all the way up, and take it all the way over onto the other side. Just playing where you're comfortable, looking for the release that you need today. As you come back towards the center line, either stay here gently cradle rocking, or you're going to morph into some modified spinal rolls. Gently cross one foot over the other, reaching for the toes. Nod your chin to your chest and rock up, thinking boat, nodding forward as if you were looking down towards the mat, and then gently C-curve through the spine as you rock up and down, holding on to those feet and thinking of tucking into a tight little ball as you roll up and down. Giving me roughly 5 rolls, and then changing the cross of your feet and leading with the opposite leg in front as you gently rock back and forth. Keep your tummy tightly tucked in. Think of giving me a nice tight little ball. Let's do one more, and then we're going to find our way into a kneeling frame. So if you were cradle rocking on the side, gently roll over to one side, make your way onto the knees, folding your mat double if you need some padding under the knees, or just placing a hand towel underneath the knees. Feet, knees stacked comfortably underneath your hips. Give me a soft engagement of your inner thighs. Pull up softly from the pelvic floor. Float your hands softly in parallel overhead. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, sway overhead to the left. Keep your hands soft as you gently mimic a palm tree swaying in the breeze. Use your breath. Exhale every time you come over the center line. Inhale to transition, and then exhale as you come over the other side. Even though the fingertips are stretching up, I want you to soften through the collarbones and the shoulders. Let's do one more sway to each side. Then drop the arms softly at your side. Connect the fingertips to the mat and step up gently onto the haunches, coming to stand with your feet in parallel, stacking underneath your hips. Ragdoll the body down and gently side sway with a slight twist, just hanging and dangling those arms down towards the floor, giving me a nice bend in the knees as you gently sway. Come to stillness along the midline of the body. Check that your feet are on a soft parallel line. Take a big breath in, floating both hands overhead. On the exhale, fold forward, big bend in the knees, and swing the arms at your side. We're going to do that a few more times. Use your breath. Big breath in. Audible exhale as you come down. Let go of that tension. Big breath in. Let's do two more. Last one. Peel up, ragdoll, peel up to a soft standing frame on your mat. Feet are still softly in parallel. You're going to tap the alternate hand to shoulder as you bend and pivot on the back leg. Keeping your movements soft and relaxed. Keep lengthening through the neck as if you had a suction cup attached to the crown, gently pulling the spine up towards the ceiling, and keep the belly button softly pulled in. The last one. Come to stillness along the midline of the body and make your way gently back onto the knees. We're going to play up a little camel line. Start for me with the toes tucked under, hips stacked over your knees, arms soft and relaxed at your side with your chin nodded softly towards your chest. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale, cup your bum and come into a supported back bend. Exhale, nod your chin to your chest. You're going to play with that dynamic camel, using your breath, cupping your bum to support the back as you come into your camel line. You're either going to stay here playing with your dynamic camel, or you're going to morph into a half camel. Stepping your right foot out, foot and knee more or less in a straight line, right hand to the inside of the right knee, push it back. Float your left hand into your lower back and gently peek up to the ceiling. Pausing for a couple of breaths, then coming back towards the center line and stepping out on the left. You're going to use your half camel line dynamically. Ardha Ustrasana. Pushing that knee away as you support the lower back on the other side. Keeping the toes tucked under, either keeping your chin line parallel to the floor or giving me a soft throw back and peeking up to the ceiling, dropping your shoulder blades even closer towards the floor as you relax. Let's do one more step out to each side. As you complete the last one and come back into your kneeling frame, you're gently either going to execute from a full kneel, or you're going to come into thunderbolt, bringing the feet together and the knees together and sitting back on your heels. or just work from your high kneel if you prefer. Float the hands behind you, interlacing, trying to bring the two palms as close together as you can and giving me a little fist, squeezing the two shoulder blades together and gently peeking up to the ceiling, dropping your fisted hands softly between your bum cheeks. Take a big breath in and fold forward, making your crown heavy to the floor, bringing your interlaced hands behind you and hovering your head just off the floor. Give me a nice strong contraction through the core. Inhale, peel back up, opening up your chest center into a little Anahatasana, and this time trying to lean back further, maybe touching your fisted hands to the feet. Opening up your chest center as you peek up to the ceiling. Take a big breath in, on an exhale, fold forward, trying to bring your head a little closer to the floor this time, maybe just hovering your head off the floor, a light touch, but no pressure into the crown of your head. Peel back up along the center line. On an exhale, try and lean all the way back this time, maybe connecting your fisted hands to the mat behind you or playing where you're comfortable. Dropping those shoulders away from your ears and growing through your neckline. Big breath in as you come up. As you exhale, fold all the way forward, trying to connect your crown of the head softly to the floor. Bring your interlaced hands overhead as far as you can. Think of floating those two shoulder blades closer together behind your back. Softly peel up along the center line and uninterlace the hands behind your back. Scooching off your bum weight to one side, extend both legs in front and set yourself up towards the front of the mat so that you've got room to play behind you. You're going to make your way onto the elbows. Although stacking comfortably underneath your armpits, don't collapse through the chest. So think bosoms up towards the ceiling. You're going to keep your chin in a soft neutral line looking down towards your feet. Clip your feet softly together along the midline of the body and then lift and hold your right foot off the floor. Stay here or start tracing a soft circular motion, giving me 5 big circles in one direction, keeping that chest nice and high with a soft push through the forearms, and then change the direction of your circular trace, keeping your chin in a soft neutral line. Belly button softly pulled in. Let's change sides. Lift and hover your left foot, either staying here working through the core or softly opening up through the hips as you trace a circular pattern in one direction. And then change, moving in the opposite direction. From here, we're going to find our way onto the back into a bridge line. Bend the knees and connect the soles of the feet to the mat and scooch your way down onto the mat. Arms at your sides, palms down, feet and knees hip-width distance apart, spine in neutral with a little space between your lower back and the mat. Take a big breath in to prepare. On the exhale, tilt your pelvis to the 12 o'clock position. Begin imprinting your lower back into the mat. Start peeling your bum off the mat. Peel up one vertebra at a time, beginning to disconnect from the mat and stop when you reach the shoulder blades. Giving me a little pause here before rolling right back down, one vertebra at a time, giving me a soft rounding and a release of your lower back before you find your bum cheek connect and bring it back to neutral. You're going to rinse and repeat a couple of times, almost finding a gentle release through the spine as you peel up one vertebra at a time, giving me a soft engagement through the back and the front chain of the legs as you find the apex of your bridge before rolling back down. Use the bridge dynamically and sync your movement to your breath. Keep your chin soft and relaxed. Try not to arch and throw the head back. I want your shoulders relaxed into the mat and your chin relaxed. Bring those hips up nice and evenly towards the ceiling, belly button heavy before you roll back down. Let's do about 2 more dynamic and then we'll take it into a little bind. So you can either stay or play, depending on how your body is feeling today. As you come up on your next bridge line, you're either going to hold the bridge with your hands pressed palm down into the mat, or you're going to float your hands together behind your back, squeezing the two shoulder blades together as close as you can behind your back and trying to give me a fisted hand, dropping your fisted hands to the floor and nodding your chin to your chest, trying to pike those hips up as high towards the ceiling as your body wants to play today. So just see how the back is feeling, see how the hips are feeling. Wiggle into it if you need a release. When you're ready to come down, uncouple the hands, open up that tight knot between the shoulders, make your shoulders heavy into the mat, and start articulating down one vertebra at a time. Feel each little nodule as you reconnect to the mat and find your way back into a neutral spine position. Gently cradle rock your back out by hugging the shins in towards the chest and cradle rocking out. Stay here or morph into a little spinal roll, but give me a soft, relaxed leg line this time. Rocking gently forward, thinking of a little soft, almost Paschimottanasana, and then gently think of giving me a soft plow-like roll, drawing the legs over the head, playing where you're comfortable, maybe keeping it into a little ball if you prefer, and just rocking back and forth. So find what works for you. You can even mimic the cross-legged spinal roll if you played with right at the beginning of the class. Try and get a soft release into the back for me as you play. Let's do two more, and then we're going to find our way into a soft standing frame on the mat. So on your next one, gently brace into the hands, walking your way onto the haunches, softly hang forward, and maybe just rock the body side to side in a soft ragdoll-like fashion. We're going to open up into a half standing straddle. Place your fingertips gently on the mat and heel toe out, feet more or less parallel to the outer edges of your mat, placing either your fingertips or your palms flat on the floor. If that connection is not happening for you, maybe using a block and leaning into the block. If you don't have a block handy, maybe just bracing onto your shins or holding onto the legs. Find the forward fold that's working for you and drop the crown of your head down towards the floor, weighting it and making it heavy. Maybe creeping your fingertips and trying to position them between the 2 feet. Make the crown as heavy as you can. Take a big breath in and on an exhale. Rotate your head softly to the left, letting go of any tension in the head. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, softly rotate in the opposite direction. Inhale to come back along the center line, making that crown nice and heavy towards the floor. Hold it for me. You're going to ease your way into a plank line from here, creeping your hands back so that they're lining up more or less underneath your shoulders. Step back one leg at a time and come into a nice strong plank line, not hanging on the shoulders, so push the floor away with your hands, brace your core and give me a nice strong plank. Then ease your way into a modified up dog. Drop the hips gently through your plank line, but control by zippering up from your pubic bone towards your core. Push the floor strongly away, chin line parallel to the floor, or gently look up towards the ceiling. We're going to play with a soft rotation. From your up dog position, gently look over the left shoulder. Then flip one leg over the other, stacking to the right. Bend your bottom leg, extend the top and come into a gentle lifted gait, thinking of a soft T-frame through the arms. Bring the top arm over in line with your ear, Think side angle, and then float back to your start position. You're going to use that top arm dynamically, either keeping your gaze in neutral or gently looking up to the ceiling as you play in your lifted gait. Keep your top hip nice and high towards the ceiling. You're going to find your way back into your up dog frame. Float back to the mat, transitioning from your plank into your strong up dog. Peek over the right shoulder. Flipping the right leg on top of the left, coming into an almost side plank motion before you bend the bottom knee, extend the top leg, and open up the top arm to the ceiling. Then playing with that arm dynamically, thinking of bringing the top arm flush with the top ear, and then floating back into the soft T frame through the arms. Last one, you're going to find your way back into a soft plank frame. Once you've found your way into a plank, you're going to give me a step up with the left leg on the outside of the left hand. If the leg gets stuck on the mat, corral that sucker, bring it forward. Make sure that your hands are comfortably positioned underneath your shoulders, and just gently open up the hips by focusing on your back foot. Rock the weight forward into your toes and back into the heel, thinking of opening up through the groin. Let's change and move into a modified side angle. Keep your right hand where it is. Take a bit, or you can bring it closer towards the center line if you prefer. Take a big breath in and float your left arm up, taking a slight twist, either staying here or playing dynamically with that left arm and giving me big sweeping circular motions through the arms, and play with that back foot. Rock the body weight back and forth. So swaying the body back and forward as you gently rotate through the top arm. Find your way back to the mat, both hands stacking underneath your shoulders, and step back into a strong plank. Push the floor away. Step wide with the right leg on the outside of the right hand, and find your gentle back and forth sway, rocking the weight between the toes and the heel of the back leg. Keep your core softly braced. Keep your left hand where it is, or maybe walk it in halfway to the midline of the body if you're more comfortable there, and gently take a rotation to the right, floating the right arm up. Stay there, or start sweeping motions with the right arm, and then gently play with that rocking motion into the back foot. Keep your belly button softly pulled in. No muffin top bellies hanging on the floor. Find your way back onto both hands, making sure you've realigned each hand, stacking them underneath your shoulders. You're going to step back into a high plank. We're going to flip over into a side plank, and I'm going to flip right first this time so that you can see what I'm doing with my body. Stacking one leg on top of the other as you come into a side plank. Then bend the top leg and step that foot into the mat. Take a big breath here, and on the exhale, think of allowing your right hip to drop to the mat and your hand to just drop to the inside of that extended leg. Inhale and float back up into T. We're going to rinse and repeat. Exhale as you drop down to the mat, connecting hand to inner thigh. Sync your movement to your breath. Last one. Find your way back into a plank line. Strong through the core, strong through the shoulders. Stack left. One leg stacking over the other. Bend the top leg, connect the foot to the mat. Then think of relaxing the bottom hip to the mat as you allow the top hand to gently connect to the inner thigh of the extended leg. Big breath in, float back up into T. And then find a playful oscillation between the two, exhaling as you connect to the mat, and taking a big inhale to fill up and float back up to your modified lifted gait. Last one, you're going to find your way back into your plank, and then we'll kick back into child pose for a little bit of a timeout. Find your way into plank, drop through 4-point kneeling, float the big toes together, open up the knees, and maybe stack the forearms, and find a resting spot on the back of your hands for the head. If you need to wiggle around to find a release, give me a soft undulating release through the shoulders as you sway the hips side to side. Play with the movement, find the release that's working for you. Alrighty, from here we're going to play with lizard, Uttan, Shavasana. Find your way through 4-point kneeling into a plank line. Push the floor away, nice and strong. Let's step up on the right side first to the outside of the right hand, and let's all release the back knee and foot just to begin. Open up your right foot to about 45, creep it forward slightly, and then knife edge the foot. Either stay here with both hands stacking underneath your shoulders, or ease your way onto the elbows, and if you can, tuck the back toe under and lift the knee up off the floor. Maybe gently swaying the body weight back and forth. If you can't quite make it down onto the elbows, maybe reaching for your block. You could even use a block underneath each elbow if you like. Find as much height off the mat as you need, and just maybe find a gentle lean-in position here. Just playing where you're comfortable, either keeping that back knee and foot softly connected to the mat, or hovering them off the mat. Then maybe gently drop into your forearms, keeping your knife edge position on the front foot, and slowly float the right arm up to the ceiling, opening up and feeling even more of an intense opening into the groin and hip area on the right. Float softly back onto the forearms, reconnect your back knee and foot, peel your way back up onto the hands, connect the front foot to the mat, kick it back in child pose, arms extended in front, and just give me a soft sway side to side, releasing through the hips. Let's rinse and repeat on the other side. Come through 4-point kneeling, find a strong plank line, and step it wide to the outside of the left hand. Relax the back knee, relax the back foot. Take your front foot out to 45, creep it slightly forward, and knife edge it so that you can feel that nice opening through the groin. See if you can ease your way onto the elbows. Think Sphinx. Tuck the back toe under, bring the knee up off the floor, and ease into the opening by gently swaying the body weight back and forth between the big toe and the heel on the back leg. Find that tight spot. Once you've found it, hold it maybe for a second or two longer. Alrighty. Holding that, or giving me a soft twist to the left, and thinking soft T-arm as you float the left arm up to the ceiling. Keep your belly button softly pulled in as you play with that rotation. Let's play it up this time. We're going to come into a deep squat line from here. Relax the back knee and foot. Bring it back onto the hands and connect the front foot to the mat. Then step up the back leg so that you're nice and wide in a deep squat malasana with your hands in prayer, pushing into the palms. If coming into a deep squat is not for you, maybe give me a midway squat and just place the hands on the inside of the knees, pushing them open, or softly holding onto the top of your thighs, wherever you're comfortable. We're going to play with malasana dynamically. We're going to play with a little half squat line. So place your right hand on the inside of the right foot and float your left arm up to the ceiling. Pausing here for a couple of seconds. Take a big breath in, bring your hands back to prayer. Push with those elbows on the inside of the knees and float the left hand to the inside of the left leg and float the right arm out. You're going to play with that movement dynamically, bringing your hands to prayer, pushing open, then floating the right hand to the inside of the right knee and rotating softly to the left. Inhale, bring it back. Push with those elbows, open up through the groin. Bring the left hand to the inside of the left leg and float the right arm up. Let's do one more to each side, and then we'll cat-cow out. If you're playing from the midway point, just float your top arm softly up to the ceiling, reconnecting to the top of the thigh on the other side as you gently oscillate side to side. Wherever you were playing, find your way into a soft 4-point kneeling frame on the mat, checking that your hands are stacking comfortably underneath your shoulders, with your knees stacking comfortably underneath your hips. Take a big breath in to prepare and arch the back, allowing your chin and your bum bones to look up to the ceiling, but don't allow your belly button to hang on the floor. Keep it softly pulled in. Exhale and round out, and cat, getting a nice stretch into the shoulders and the lower back. You're going to oscillate dynamically between the two shapes, trying not to sway your body weight back and forth. Keep still for me and just focus on the back, getting that little U and rounded shape through the back. If your practice is more advanced, you can use your bandhas and your locks as you round up, pulling up the pelvic floor, squeezing in the diaphragm and applying the chin lock. Pausing before you unlock all three in succession, beginning with the chin lock, then the diaphragm lock, then the pelvic floor lock. Play where you're comfortable. Let's do one more round. And then we're going to set ourselves up for a little half pigeon line. Ekapada Rayaka Potasana. Tuck your toes under and float into a soft down dog frame, piking your bum up towards the ceiling and the crown down towards the floor. Settle in, maybe wiggle around and find the release that you need through the arms and the legs. Let's play on the right side first. Bend the right knee, softly swing the right leg behind you, and then think knee to hip. Rotate the leg in, either lining up the knee and the ankle in a straight line or tucking the foot in closer towards the perineum. For most of us, tucking in is going to feel more comfortable. Relax that leg to the floor. Drop the back knee, relax the back foot, and then slide the back leg away. Check that you don't have that right knee in the midline of the body. You want it either hip width distance apart or a little bit wider so that it's almost like half a triangle on the mat, supporting your body weight. Gently ease your way onto the elbows. Think Sphinx, elbows stacking underneath your armpit. I want you to bump all of the weight into your right bum bone. So you're off center now. Now think of what's happening between your two hips. Try to bring your body back to center so that your two hips are even to the floor, as if they were balancing a little strip of mercury between your two hip bones. Almost collapse through the shoulders as if you wanted to bring your chest towards the floor. And then softly push through the forearms, grow the chest up towards the ceiling. You're going to play with that movement dynamically, almost collapsing through your arms and then pushing softly away. I'd like you to end with a soft push away. Nod your chin to your chest, releasing the tension from the back of your neck. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, slowly rotate your chin towards the left shoulder. Inhale, come back towards the center line, and slowly rotate your head, your chin and your head towards the right shoulder. Inhale, come back towards the center line, either staying here or extending the arms softly on the mat in front of you, trying to connect your forehead to the mat, or maybe lying on one cheek if you prefer, and just giving me a soft connect here. Be very aware of what's happening between your hips. Try to keep both hips nice and even towards the floor. We're going to ease into a double pigeon line from here, and this is uncomfortable for most people, so just play where you're comfortable. Ease your way back onto the elbows and then creep your way onto the hands. Focus on the right leg that's tucked underneath you. Lean into your right bum cheek And think of gently lining up your knee and your ankle into a straight line so it mimics the front end of your mat. Swing the left leg over and try to overlay the left foot over the left knee and the left knee over the right foot. So you're not in Sukhasana. There's more of an acute triangle between your two legs. If you're really open through the knees, your left knee might drop naturally to the foot. But for most of us, it's going to feel like the knee wants to keep creeping up towards your ear. You're going to drop your fingertips to the mat behind you and just lean forward into the stretch. You are going to feel quite an aggressive pull into the outside of your hamstring feeding into the groin area on the left. Either stay here with your fingertips softly connected to the floor behind you, or maybe just softly drape your hands and your forearms to the mat in front of you, using a relaxed chest to maybe move a little bit deeper into the stretch. Just play where you're comfortable. Double pigeon, Agni Stambhasana. Hold it for me. Peel softly up along the center line. Unhook your feet and place your feet about mat width distance apart with the fingertips softly braced on the mat behind you. Take a big breath in, and on an exhale, drop both knees to the right as you look to the left. Inhale, draw the knees back. Drop both knees to the left as you look to the right. We're going to do that one more, and we're going to add a little hook. Bring your knees back towards the center line. On the exhale, drop both knees to the right as you look to the left. And maybe taking your right foot, hooking it over your left knee, and just making your right knee as heavy as you can. Maybe intensifying the stretch just a little bit. Keep your belly button softly pulled in and make sure you're not collapsing through those arms. So think bosoms up, yeah, towards the ceiling. Bring it back towards the center line. Drop both knees to the left as you look to the right. Taking your left foot and hooking it over the right knee as you keep growing your chest towards the ceiling. We're going to repeat that little pigeon line on the other side. Sweep both legs underneath you. Find your way to a soft 4-point kneeling frame. Pike your bum up towards the ceiling. Ease into your down dog shape. Soften the left leg, swing it behind you, swing through. Finding the lead leg position that's working for you, relax it to the mat. Release the back knee, release the back foot. Slide the back leg away and ease your way onto the elbows. Bump all of your weight into the left hip bone, so you're slightly off center. Now think of straightening up. Bring your body back to center. Focus on what's happening between the two hip bones. Think of trying to balance a little blob of mercury, like a spirit level, between your two hip bones. Drop, make your ribs heavy to the floor as you almost collapse through the collarbones. Then softly push through the forearms and grow your whole rib cage up towards the ceiling. Play with that movement dynamically, keeping your elbows softly stacking underneath your armpits. End high. Nod your chin softly towards your chest. Take a big breath in and slowly rotate your chin towards the right shoulder. Inhale, come back towards the center line. Softly rotate your chin to the left shoulder. Bring it back to center, either staying here or allowing the arms to softly extend on the mat in front of you and maybe dropping your forehead to the mat. Trying to keep your hips nice and even to the floor and breathing through the stretch. Give me a few more breaths here and then we'll ease our way into the double pigeon line. On the left, peel softly up along the center line, dropping the weight into your left bum cheek. Line up your left knee and ankle in a straight line. Swing the right leg over, trying to overlay your right foot over the left ankle and your right knee over the left foot. Softly leaning the body weight forward. Look for that little pinch in the back of the right leg feeding into the groin. either keeping the hands softly on the floor behind you or draping your arms and your forearms softly to the mat in front of you and allowing the added weight of your torso to maybe bring you just a itty bitty deeper into the stretch. Peel softly up along the midline. Uncross your legs. Give me a wide stance on the mat. Take a big breath in. Drop both knees to the left as you look to the right. Inhale, bring it back. Drop both knees to the right as you look to the left. Let's do one more time. Add in that little hook. Bring it back. As you exhale, hook the left foot over the right knee. Keep softly looking over that right shoulder and keep the belly button softly pulled in. Chest nice and high to the ceiling. Let's take it to the other side. Drop both knees to the right as you look to the left. Giving me a soft hook of the right foot over your left knee. We're going to find our way into a little forward fold, a little seated forward fold from here, Paschimottanasana, extending both legs out in front, and just keep your drape nice and soft. Just give me a big breath in and slowly drop maybe fingertips and palms to the mat and then creep your way forward, maybe trying to drape your hands over the toes or just softly relaxing your forearms to the mat as you think nose to knee. Play where you're comfortable. If the legs are not accessible and you're really struggling, you could always use a strap or just take your block, using the block in any dimension and placing it between the legs and finding a leaning position for yourself. Play where you're comfortable. From here, we're going to bring it into a plow, and we'll try and open up progressively, taking 3 rounds of plow and maybe holding each plow for anywhere from 10 to 15 seconds before you come back into the forward fold. If you're not sure, if you've not done plow before, take a look before you do it. I don't want you looking to the side of the room when you play. Keep your chin tucked softly towards your chest so that you don't tweak your neck. Softly think of rolling back, making your way onto the forearms, supporting your lower back as you bring the legs overhead, maybe just starting for me with your legs parallel to the floor. Supporting the weight of your lower back, bringing the weight up onto your shoulders. If coming into a plow is contraindicated for you, you're just going to play with the bridge line we played with earlier on, peeling up one vertebra at a time and then holding that little curve into the spine for your 10 or your 15 seconds. From your plow position, roll back into Paschimottanasana, your forward fold, trying to bring your torso a little bit closer to the top of your thighs this time, wiggling if you need a release, finding the forward fold that works for you, and thinking chest to knees. When you're ready, come back into your plow, supporting the lower back and maybe trying to drop your toes to the mat this time and holding a soft extended line through the legs. Keep your chin tucked towards the chest, activating your thyroid, kickstarting your metabolism. Remember, if plow is contraindicated for you, just play in a soft bridge line. Find your way back into Paschimottanasana, every time trying to bring your chest a little bit closer to the top of your thighs. Ease your way back into your last plow, playing where you're comfortable, either supporting the back or coming up nice and high on the shoulders, maybe interlacing the hands, dropping your interlaced hands to the floor. If you were playing with a bridge line, maybe do the same thing, interlacing the hands softly behind your back, squeezing the 2 shoulder blades as close together as you can, just playing where you're comfortable. Ease your way back into your last little forward fold, draping your torso to the top of your thighs. Keep your breath soft, relaxed, and try to just release on each exhale. We're going to play with a little fish line from here, Murtsyasana. Peel up along the center line, sitting up nice and tall in staff pose, Dandasana. Drop onto the left elbow and then onto the right, trying to stack underneath your armpits. Tuck just the fingertips underneath your bum cheeks. Start with your chin line nice and soft, and maybe bring the feet together along the midline of the body, bracing into your feet. Then drag the body weight over your hands so that your hands are more or less in the middle of your bum, either keeping your chin line dropped softly down or nod the crown of your head down to the floor. Make sure that you're connecting the crown of your head and not the back of your head. You could use a block underneath your head if you need to, and you're going to hold here for roughly between 10 to 15 seconds, and then we're going to play with that fish line as we come outside. I'd like you to keep it on the elbows for me today, even if you've got the upper back strength and you would usually bring the hands out. I'd like you to keep it on the elbows for me. Opening up through that chest center. When you're ready to come out, keep the weight on your elbows and nod your chin softly towards your chest. Look down towards your feet. Lift, hold, and hover your right foot off the floor, giving me a soft contraction through the core. Keep looking down towards your pubis. Change legs. Rock your weight up into a seated position. Maybe just giving me a soft forward fold to release. Peeling softly up along the center line. Open up your feet so that they're more or less hip width distance apart, and give me one roll down to come straight into a happy baby, Ananda Balasana. Nod your chin to your chest and start rounding out your spine and C curve. As soon as you feel your lower back connect to the mat, bend the knees. Float the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling and reach with the hands for the undercarriage of your foot. Tugging down on the feet, trying to get your knees to almost wrap over your torso and make their way towards your armpit. Then relax your lower back into the mat. Either stay here or gently, slowly rock your body weight side to side. You could play with that sideways rock and come all the way over onto one side, holding onto both feet as you come over, and then rocking all the way over to the other side. So just play with the movement. Pretend that you're 4 years old and having some fun. No judgment here. Let's do one more rock to each side. Then we're going to ease our way into Shavasana, corpse pose. Find your way back onto the back and float into a soft supine butterfly. Soles of the feet together, knees open nice and wide, arms at your sides at 45, palms up to the ceiling. Lift both shoulder blades off the mat, tuck them like little wings behind you, and start settling the weight of your chin and your torso. Then softly extend the right leg, thinking of floating your toes towards the corner of the mat, keeping your inner thighs rotated out as you replicate on the left, looking like a little starfish. Settle the weight of your body into the mat. Close your eyes, take your focus in. Wriggle your toes gently and begin softening through the toes, the feet, the ankles, the shins, the calves. Soften your knees, the tops and the back of your thighs. Relax your bum cheeks, make them heavy into the mat. Soften your hip bones and your pelvis. Relax your belly, soften through the rib cage. Think of making the whole torso heavy into the mat. Think of the spine being a beautiful long piece of spaghetti from your tailbone to the nape of your neck, just heavy into the mat. Wriggle your fingers, soften them, allow them to curl in towards your palm. Relax the wrist joints, soften the forearms, relax the elbows. Soften the biceps and the triceps, make the shoulder blades heavy into the mat. Take a big breath in, and on the exhale, slowly float your head to the left, letting go of any tension along the neck, the shoulder, and the collar line. Inhale, bring your head back towards center. On an exhale, slowly float your head to the right. Let go of that tension. Surrender it into the mat. Inhale, bring it back. And on an exhale, softly nod your chin to your chest and let go of that little tension spot behind your head. Bend the knees, connecting the soles of the feet to the mat, coming back into that little bridge setup we played with right in the beginning of the class. Keep the arms relaxed in Shavasana at your side. Take a big breath in and slowly open the eyes, but keep them soft and unfocused. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, look left, rotating your head at the same time and just keeping your gaze soft and unfocused. Inhale, come back towards the center line. Exhale, slowly look right as you rotate your head to the right. Inhale, come back towards the center line. Exhale and softly throw your head back, almost trying to bring your chin up towards the ceiling. Keep the movement soft. Don't load through the neck. Just think soft release. On an exhale, bring it back to neutral. Float your hands softly to prayer in front of your heart. And on an exhale, nod your chin softly down and kiss your fingertips to your lips. Ending off your practice for the day. Stay here on the back for as long as you're comfortable before gently rolling over onto one side in a soft fetal position, maybe using your bottom arm as a pillow, and stay here in Parsvagarbhasana, a little fetal pose, before gently finding your way to a seated frame before you come to standing. Thank you so much for coming out and playing with me today. I really hope that you enjoyed today's Unwind class. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Shoot me your comments in the comments box, and be sure to be subscribed to my channel with your notification bell on. I shall see you all for playtime on the mat tomorrow, and we are going to be working a great all body weight conditioning set tomorrow. Until then, keep it light.